What would you do if you made over $1 billion? Well, this man actually gave it all away, almost all of it away. The story of Jon Huntsman, this book, Barefoot to Billionaire, is what we're going to be talking about in today's book review. Very interesting book. I must have said this before, I like studying the lives of successful people. So reading biographies is really interesting to me because you can always learn 3 or 4 really important things from these people. Now, Jon Huntsman started off in Idaho. He wasn't from a wealthy family. He worked his way up to create a $12 billion company with thousands of employees around the world. Now, you may not have heard of Jon Huntsman, but if you've been to McDonald's and you've had a Big Mac, the container the Big Mac comes in? His company made that. And that's how he really started to make his big money, was with that. But the book's interesting because it talks about, the difficulties Jon Huntsman had, and all the way through his life, he believed in God. He served faithfully in his church. He was a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Married his teenage sweetheart, Karen. They had 9 children together, and built this big company. But at the same time, he was doing a lot of charitable work. In fact, in the book, there's a story about when he was in a meeting with other 60, 70 billionaires, and a few of the prominent ones that, I won't mention, stood up and bragged about the fact they just donated $150 million. So Jon Huntsman puts his hand up. He was at the back of the room, and he said, "Excuse me, now I have a few billion, but most of you have more billions than I do. So bragging about 150 million donation, I've just given away $1.5 billion because I figured my family didn't need 1.5 billion. We're okay with, a few hundred million. That keeps everybody happy." So he worked and gave away most of his money. One of the things he did when there was a big earthquake in Armenia, for example, he sent a lot of supplies there and money to help rebuild the country, and they're very grateful for what he did. He also set up a center to research a cure for cancer, so he put a lot of money into that. But above all, when he was doing deals, he would ring the CEOs up directly, he would meet with them, and he would shake their hand, and that's how the deal was done. It was a handshake deal. He believed in handshake deals, and when he gave his word to somebody, that was it. Also, when some of his companies went through difficulties, he always made sure he paid everybody, and he treated his employees as family. And this is another interesting thing that I found. This man is a man of integrity all throughout his life, and really reached out to help people. And this is really, really an important thing and interesting to see how he went about things. He also had many opportunities, legal problems, as everybody does in the United States, because people try and sue you, but he never sued anybody. Even though there were people that did bad things and tried to take him down, he never sued anybody. And I thought that was interesting as well, where you always hear when you're dealing with people in America about, oh, I got sued, or I sued this one and that, and there's all this suing going on all the time. Well, Jon Huntsman never sued anybody. So that's also interesting. He managed to accumulate this fortune, starting off with a simple $1,000 loan, and built that up to a $12 billion empire. So you certainly need ability to do that. And that's the story of Jon Huntsman. But, I do encourage you to read the book, Barefoot to Billionaire. There's a link below. You can get a copy of the book. Have a read. If you've already read it, or you've heard of Jon Huntsman, you've had any dealings with him, his family, you can, post below. Let's get the conversation going. One of his children is quite famous, Jon Huntsman Jr., who's also the governor of Utah, also ambassador to China for the US and Russia. So he's been out there. He also ran for president. One of his granddaughters works for Fox News. So, the family have been successful and have and are continuing the legacy of the Huntsman family. So it's a great story. So comment below. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.